Inside the OMG episode number 217. 217 Tuesdays in a row. And tonight we have a really, really special guest. All the way from Italy, by way of Japan, right here in studio, my good friend Francesco Sondelli.
What's up, guys?
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having
me. Really appreciate you being here. This is so great. So, Francesco is an accomplished musician, a music producer, a singer, a guitar player, a composer. Not only does he do all that really well, he decided he'd make some guitar pedals. So he's got guitar pedals. He has a series called F pedals. Great, great pedals. Then, he's been doing that for a while, and then he's decided why not make some guitars?
Right. Why not?
Sondelli guitar. So we're going to talk about all kinds of things, guitar, pedals, music, and there's a big, really cool thing that he did about 10 years ago for Napoli, the amazing soccer team. So Anthony Perozzi, if you've tuned in, I know you're going tomorrow to Italy to see Napoli win. Well, this guy composed their anthem back in 2013. So we're going to talk about all that as well. So there's a lot to get into, but if you got any questions, throw them in the comments. As we do, we'll answer them and as best we can. Some quick shout outs. Mom and Dad are here. Thanks for tuning in. Wayne, Samantha, Dallas, and Aunt Judy are here. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all being here. Very cool. All right. So let's talk about, you grew up in Italy.
Yes.
And what was the first, what music did you hear to make you say, oh, I want to do that. I want to try that. Like, what inspired you to start this music journey?
I grew up in a very musical city. I was born and raised in Napoli.
Okay.
Napoli is an incredibly musical city. And my father used to be a bass player. And so I was surrounded by music my entire life growing up.
Gotcha.
And you know how it is, like music is like a pretty woman, like hanging around. Sooner or later you want to make friends with it. We had a piano at home, we had guitars, my brother played drums, and we used to jam. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, it's exactly perfect.
Your family band.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was born and raised very close to the opera house in Napoli, the Royal Theatre San Carlo.
Okay.
Which is, I think, the first opera house in Europe, and it's still working.
Wow.
Nowadays, yeah, wonderful place.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Napoli is very famous. If you study music, there is a Neapolitan minor scale, very, very, a very powerful language of music. We have a contamination. Contamination is not the right word to use nowadays, but
that's okay.
Of music is a mix of Arabic rhythms and Mediterranean sounds, and then Napoli's been frequently conquered by French, by Spanish, so there's a mix of all kinds of cultures, and actually not many people in America know, but most of the you remember the Three Sopranos, Pavarotti,
sure.
Even Bocelli, a lot of the music, the famous world music, it's actually not sang in Italian but sang in Neapolitan language. Neapolitan is not a dialect, it's an actual language, like O Sole Mia, that's a Neapolitan, it's not Italian language.
Interesting.
So I was born in a very musical city, and my father played, and
So okay, quick question. How different are the languages? Is it similar, or is it like Spanish and Catalan?
It's like Spanish and Catalan.
Because it's like I hear Spanish and I can communicate. I hear Catalan and I'm like, no idea.
I'll give you some examples.
Yeah.
Well, every city in Italy, even like small towns next to each other, have different dialects. Some are just simply we use Italian as a main language across Italy. We study Italian at school. But every city, like if you go to Firenze and Florence, they have their own language. But Firenze is more of a dialect than a language, I would say. Same if you go to Sicily, and people from Rome might not fully understand a Neapolitan speaking in Neapolitan. For example, in Italian, boy, we say ragazzo.
Ragazzo. Okay.
In Napoleon, it's waglio.
Oh, it's totally different. Totally different.
Some words are similar, but mostly in Napolitan has a lot of French and Spanish influence. For instance, bottle in Italian is bottiglia. In Napolitan is bouteille.
Okay.
In French is bouteille.
So yeah, there's
like,
similarity.
You know, it's a lot of French sounding words in Napolitan mixed with Spanish, like Nenil, little boy, is from Niño in Spanish. So it's a lot of mix
Gotcha.
in our dialect, which is now officially recognized as a language.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. So you should definitely.
I want to go.
Come
yeah.
visit me there.
Okay. Okay. All right. So so music's in the house. You're playing with your dad. You're playing with your brother, and so are you on guitar at this point?
At this point, I'm exploring everything, mostly piano.
Piano.
Because my dad was into rock and roll, like, you know, Pink Floyd and all the good stuff.
Wow.
Hendrix, Pink Floyd. My mom was more into the Italian pop music, and she loved singing. So I started actually playing piano chords for my mom to sing. Perfect. So with the jams, she would be part of our jams. But my brother really got into jazz music, and so we had this very interesting mix going on. I loved an Italian singer called Eros Ramazzotti. It's very pop, but I love them, and it's probably the reason why I decided to start writing songs. I love this song so much that I decided to write it. So Eros is my...
So how old were you when you started songwriting?
I started very early, and as a matter of fact, at age 15, I had my first concert. People paid tickets to come see me with all original songs.
I love it.
At age 15. So I would say maybe started around 11 or 12. I wrote a love song for the girls that I liked in the summertime, Ilaria.
Yeah.
And from that song, I said, "Oh, this is cool." And
yeah.
And then I had a friend that took that song and changed just the name of the girl, and
you can use it over and over with a new girl's name.
You know, there's this one part with the name, you just change the name, and you could use for everyone.
Right.
So
absolutely.
It was fun. Yeah. And that's how I started. Awesome. Yeah. So very early.
Okay.
Yeah. I never really had the feeling, the instinct to go into learning a lot of the skills on an instrument. Everything that I've tried to learn, like I wanted to serve my songwriting. So I learned the piano, and then I felt I wanted to do something more groovy, and I think the guitar would help me more. My dad's bass was very helpful to write more. So I think I play several instruments on a very mediocre level.
But all to serve the song.
To serve my songwriting.
Yeah, that's fascinating, because really, that whole, as a songwriter, the whole thing is like, you hear it, and then now it's I have to get it out. And so it's figuring out what instrument best suits that song to get that idea across. So
you write songs too, right?
Oh,
you
yeah.
write music. You know, sometimes you don't really choose to write a song. Sometimes it just happens to
Absolutely.
you. And I guess at that point you are led to whatever you think will be the best know, way to take it out of your whatever is happening around.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so you're 15, you start charging tickets, you're putting on shows. Now, do you put a band together at 15? Do you have your friends that, you know, like, hey, let's be in a band? Or is it's you, and then you just bring in some guys to back you up?
Okay, so before the concert at age 15, I already was in a band with some schoolmates.
Okay.
You know, like the high school bands.
Yeah.
We used to play covers and go play at parties of our friends.
Yeah.
And we used to cover, like, you know, like some American music, mostly Italian music. Like Pino Daniele is a very famous Napolitan singer.
Okay.
And everybody loves him. So we used to play covers. And then eventually, when I did this concert, I was very lucky to have a full band of professionals. They helped me. One of my neighbors, Alessandro, was a fantastic guitar player, still is a fantastic guitar player, and they helped me bring my songs to the next level. I wasn't really ready to produce at that point, so they helped me with the arrangements, and then my brother played the drums in the band.
I love that.
And my dad helped me putting together the show, and you know, I took some pictures. We put the tickets together. It was a lot of fun. Yes. It was fun. Yeah, it was like 1990.
Okay.
Yeah. 1990. Yes.
All right. So, okay, after you do the show, do you do a few more shows?
We did one time show for that.
For that?
Yeah, and then I decided, okay, this is what I'm gonna do in life. I was playing soccer culture at that point. Yeah. I was playing with, you know, trained professionally for football, and I had a promising career in football, but I didn't grow up enough. My body it's tiny, so I then detoured completely into music. But you know, so I was like in between playing football all the time and writing songs, not studying enough, getting my mom pissed off about, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, and I ended up following the call for music, and then I started getting into learning better how to write songs, to produce. I had remember the 8 tracks.
Oh,
tapes?
absolutely.
The first, remember the Korg M1?
Yeah.
One of my schoolmates had one, and it would usually lend it to me so I could use the cool sounds and record on tapes. It was fun.
Yeah.
I think at that point we didn't have an instant gratification, because nowadays you do something, you one click, you are online.
Right.
But back in the day,
You had to work for it.
show it to your parents first, to your friends, and
I know.
eventually you would get some feedback. So there was more, I think, motivation maybe, or passion around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so
Mm.
you finished school. Did you go to university after, or did you stay in music, or what did you do?
Can I skip the question? I'm just kidding.
Whatever.
Yes.
Whatever.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I started university,
Okay.
and I studied law.
Oh.
But I quit like very soon, because I didn't really have any desire to do that, and I wanted to spend more time in learning music.
That makes sense.
And then that disappointed my mom at first a little bit, but she was then very happy that I followed my path. Although she was never happy that I left Italy and live, my entire life away from them.
Yeah.
But I did go to university for 2 years, and then eventually in Italy back in the day we had mandatory military service.
Sure.
So I went to the armies for a year.
Yeah.
I was playing in the band of the navies.
Okay. Okay.
And then during the time right before, I used to tour with a singer playing. She used to do dance music. She was very famous in Italy. Her name is Belen Thomas. And I used to follow her with keyboards and do all this dance stuff. It was totally different than what I like to do, but it was an experience. And then right after the armies, I kept playing as a session player for artists. I played with another famous singer called Sal Da Vinci in Italy.
Okay.
And I was the guy that I had Akai samplers, and I was one of the first people using remember Notator?
Yeah.
Before it became an audio recording.
Right.
And I used to do all the sequencing, triggering with the floppy disk, the
Oh,
sequencing
man.
live.
So much work.
But it was fun, a lot of fun. And we toured with him, and it was fun.
Right.
Yeah. So
How old are you then?
At that point, I was 18 years old, because you served them. It was 1994.
Okay.
So I was 19 years old.
Okay. And military already happened? Was that 18 that you did military?
1994. I was 1994. Was in the military, but I was still writing songs and singing. Sometimes I was lucky to get into some events, some concerts, to sing my own original songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I escaped the army, pretending to be sick, and go see.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So how soon until you moved to the United States?
It was actually soon, because I left Italy in 1997.
97. Okay. And so why come here? Why leave? What were you thinking at the time?
Okay, so I loved Eros Ramazzotti when I growing up. I was like a teenager, but then eventually my brother was really into fusion.
Yeah.
And he had this. Remember the double tapes that you could copy tapes?
Yeah.
And he had Dave Weckl.
Oh yeah.
Tape, Chick Corea Electric Band.
Oh
remember?
yeah.
I loved that stage, but then eventually one of his friends lent him a tape with Electric Band, and at the end of the record, suddenly those 2 songs come out, and I just got blown away. Toto. Still look at that. And I was like, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Because it was a nice skilled music playing with songs.
Right.
So that made sense for me, because I wanted to do that. And I fell in love with Toto. I started buying all over the records.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember Richard Marx too?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I was a big fan of Toto, and throughout my military service, I was like overdosing Toto and Richard Marx. And I started saying, I want to sing in English. And I started like trying, and there's a lot of their influence in my music growing up, for
Understood.
sure. Porcaro, and I love
Oh man, what a drummer! Ooh,
the whole entire band. And then I was lucky enough, because touring with Sal Da Vinci,
Okay.
we played a concert in Napoli, and the day after Toto played
Oh.
in the same venue.
Oh.
So the backline was all the same backline that served us the day before.
Yeah.
So I spoke to the guys, hey, please, can I come in? And I went there in the afternoon, and I had the chance to meet them.
That's so
I
great.
met Steve Lukather. It was amazing, and invited me to come to America and there's a big drama after that. But they invited me to come, and he says, speak to this. I'm not gonna say the name.
Okay.
The live engineer at that point, Jeff Porcaro, was already dead.
Ah.
So we're talking about 1996, I think, at that point, or
Okay.
97ish.
Okay.
And so they invited me to come to America, and I decided to go on this venture. But I didn't speak much English, really.
Okay.
And but they took me in Rome with them. I got all of my. It was like a dream coming true. They gave me all of the gadget, the hats and everything. I made friends with the entire group.
Yeah.
And then I went to Rome with them the day after to the concert in Rome.
Okay.
And I stayed with them during the day, showed them around Rome a little bit, and then with Mike Porcaro.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So and they invited me. So Luke told to the engineers, you take his number, invite them, come to LA, so you can see the studio, and that's what happened. So I started saving money.
Yeah.
And I started talking on the phone with this guy. Hey, I'm coming to America. I said, good. So this guy disappeared on the day of arrival.
Oh.
And his mom came to pick me up at the
Oh.
LAX. It's a crazy story. This is a legendary story. There's a few people, some of my best friends, still in LA. So the guy basically disappeared. He fought with Luke. I think something went wrong in their work process, and his mom came to pick me up. She put me in an hotel for a night, and then she said, pretty much you're on your own. And I had no idea where. I had never been in America before. It was my first long international trip, and I had no idea what to do. So I didn't have enough money because I was supposed to stay at the house of this engineer.
Right.
You guys can do research as to that. I never met him after Italy, never met him again. Actually, only one time at Steve Vai's studio, actually. But anyways, so his mom come pick and say, I'm sorry, but he's busy. You cannot. This is a very long story. It's gonna take
No.
hours.
This is good. We got time.
So what happened is that I had not enough money, so I'd either choose to be in an hotel or rent a car. And in LA, my choice was rent the car.
Yeah.
And I lived in the car for a while, going every morning to the studio where I thought I would find Luke. To say,
Right.
hey, Luke, I'm here, but
Yeah,
nobody.
yeah.
And they were in tour at that point. So nobody was here, and I was like an idiot. And then I was running out of money. I have some relatives in Connecticut, and he says, "Oh, come over here. Do you have enough money to fly?" I said, "Yes, let's come over there." So I flew over to the East Coast,
Wow.
and I said, "But I have to go back to LA. I have to meet, like
Yeah.
I was so driven by
I said, come on, I came to LA.
Listen, the American dream is not for American people; it's for foreigners. You know what I mean?
Do you know that makes so much sense?
Yes.
Because for me, my parents are from former Yugoslavia.
Right.
Okay. I'm born in Canada. We come to the United States, and I have this crazy idea that I want to be a rock star
There
and
you
I
go.
want to chase my music dream. You're right.
That's it. It's
Not for Americans.
So anyway, I'm gonna try to make the story short. So I go to Connecticut. I start working like fried onion rings in the truck, selling hot dogs, all kinds of jobs I could do to get some money to go back to LA.
Yeah.
And then
And you're in Connecticut now.
I was in Connecticut, and
Okay.
I met one.
Okay,
of my,
what year is this?
1997.
97.
I'm still there.
97. Okay, 97. You're in Connecticut.
Way to go.
Okay.
And then my cousin, we had the first signs of internet. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
got mail.
You
remember?
got mail. Yeah, well.
So my cousin Pino found this guy. He started doing researches. He found this guy called Alan Friedman, who is right now one of my best friends.
Okay.
He was at NAMM show a few weeks ago, and Alan is a friend of Lukather, and he was the best. He said, "Oh, you have to go here. Yeah, help me out. Help me get back to LA," and so finally I get back to LA, but they're still in tour. And I was sleeping in the studio, the Steakhouse Studios in North Hollywood.
Okay.
And then Lee Bench, the owner of the studio, comes out. He finds me in the car like a homeless. He says, what are you doing in our park? And I tell him the story. And they put me to work in the studio. And I live in his house for an entire month. The guys with Lee Bench, they're still some of my best friends here. Lee Bench, Alan Friedman.
I love that.
We've been friends for 25, 30 years now.
That is so awesome.
And he helped me. I helped them in the studio, cleaning up the studio, and that's it. And then I loved LA, and I said, I'm gonna live here.
I'm staying.
But I went back to Italy first, collected my stuff, put together a rock band, and then I came back with my rock band here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the rock.
Yes.
Well, one second. I just want to see who else is tuned in. Want to say hello. Howdy from San Francisco, Jimmy G. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Miguel. Hola, gents. Sono siciliano.
No, sono siciliano.
È similar?
Sono siciliano.
What does he mean by that?
Similar, that's English. Similar.
Yeah,
Sono siciliano means I'm Sicilian and similar.
Okay.
Hey, Jimmy. Paisa. Siciliano.
Hey, Beth, thanks for tuning in. And then Miguel says...
che stile di canzone scrivi? What kind of songs do you write? What style of songs do you write?
Canzone, is he writing that in Italian?
Yeah, in Italian.
Miguel's my really good friend.
Io credo che
now, you're trying to show off, or did you Google Translate that? Come on now.
Does he speak Spanish?
Oh yeah. He's a Spanish speaker, absolutely.
Okay, Miguel.
So Miguel, we call him Nacho.
Okay.
Because his middle name is Ignacio.
Oh, Ignacio. Okay,
Ignacio. So he's Nacho. So that's Nacho. What's up, Nacho? So Nacho had a band. He's from El Paso, Texas.
Oh, cool.
So him and his brother and their good friend Ruben on drums, they moved to LA, and I met them when I was young. I was 19, and I'm trying to make my way, and they got their band, and so we met on a painting crew. We were painting houses. And then we ended up living in the same apartment building, and we've been friends ever since.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, he's a fantastic guy and a singer-songwriter, and he's been doing his thing. And
hola, Miguel.
Yeah. So,
¿Qué tal?
that's awesome.
Very cool.
I like how you threw in the J-A, ha, 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 and then the J-A, because, that's really ha, ha, ha in Spanish, right? J-A, 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 ha, 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 ha.
Jimmy G. Liberty, spell check change. Was talking about dialect versus language meant è similare. Sì. Sicilian dialect is similar to Neapolitan. There's some similarity, definitely some similarity.
Yeah.
Sicily, Napoli, all south of Italy and Sicily included, was called the Kingdom of the Two Sicily before Italy was united. It was one of the biggest empire in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So we are all related.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all southerns. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you go back, you put a band together.
Started playing again, tried to put some money together. And,
and
in the meantime, we formed a band. So from 1997 through to 1999, early 2000, we play with this band. We start writing songs in English. Terrible English.
Okay.
My still broken English like now.
It's great.
Even worse than now. And then we won an MTV festival. We did great.
Yeah.
It was a quartet.
Okay.
And then we decided to say, hey guys, why don't we go to America? We make it big in America. American Dream Part 2, right?
So that's what you do, is you go to America.
And then so we moved it. Sorry, I bumped into the microphone.
Fine.
So we moved all together to America. Me, Mario, Roberto, and Elio. Elio, the guitar player, was a little older than us, and then he had his mom alone, so he decided to go back to Italy. It was his choice to go back after a couple of months here, and he went back. And then me, Mario, and Roberto stayed.
Okay.
Then Roberto eventually went back for a while, then came back again.
Okay.
And we started playing in a trio. We changed the name. We were called Ozono.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And we did pretty good. We played the Mint, all the beautiful venues that are now turned into a sushi bar.
Yeah, right,
the
right.
Coconut Teaser.
Oh yeah, I played the Coconut Teaser for sure.
We did everything. The Coconut Teaser, the whiskey. Remember the gig on Melrose?
Oh yeah,
I love the gig.
There was the gig on Melrose, and then they had the gig in West LA. There was two in Hollywood.
Yes.
By the Dragonfly.
Yeah,
we played Dragonfly.
We played the Mint. We played the Joint.
Oh yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
But and we played those gigs, and then in the meantime we were living here, side jobs to pay for everything.
So the band was called
Ozono
then.
Back in the day, we played the whiskey.
And so what are we talking? What year is this?
2000.
2000.
Yes. I'm kind of 2000.
Wow. So we were playing the clubs at the same time because Olio was playing. All those same clubs in 2000. We might have done shows together.
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
And then 9/11 came, and that
Yeah.
kind of changed everything.
Sure.
Things started changing, but we were playing, and then Roberto, the drummer, decided to go back to Italy for a while, and me and Mario stayed.
Okay.
Mario eventually became Serge Duncan bass player.
Oh yeah,
So
from
Mario-
System of a Down.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mario is definitely by far one of my best friends. He's
Okay.
like a brother more than a friend, and a very talented musician and an incredible person. He moved to Denver at some point, and now he's just back to Italy like a few months ago.
Oh
He
wow.
moved back to Italy.
Okay.
So we started playing, the three of us, and then eventually Roberto left. We hired a different drummer for
Okay.
a while, and I was doing like all kinds of jobs, like video editing, anything I could do to make some money, to pay for rent. And eventually I met Malin Ackerman.
So now Malin Ackerman,
Mm.
is that any relation to Jan Ackerman? You know Jan Ackerman, the guitar player?
I don't think so.
Okay, but you know who I'm talking about from the band Focus?
No, sorry.
You don't know Focus?
No, sorry.
Oh, come on. Okay, they had a huge hit called Hocus Pocus.
Okay. I know the-
Okay, so that's Focus. So the guitar player is Jan Ackerman.
Okay.
Jan Ackerman was doing stuff before Eddie Van Halen.
Mm.
I love Eddie Van Halen, but Jan Ackerman, I think he's Swedish. I
Yeah,
think.
I'm pretty sure his
Ackerman?
last name is definitely
Yeah, yeah.
Swedish. Yes.
And so anyway, so when you said Ackerman, I was like, oh wait, is there?
I think Ackerman is a common
Yeah,
last
probably,
name in
probably.
Sweden, and Malin, she's Sweden.
Okay.
She moved to Canada when she was younger. I think she grew up in Canada, but she born and raised in Sweden, I think.
Okay. Okay.
And she came to LA
Right.
because she wanted to be. She actually is a very successful actress now.
Okay.
But when we met, she was at the beginning. She was in a movie called The Utopian Society.
Okay.
And I got the gig. I don't remember, it's through some friends or maybe Craigslist.
Yeah.
It was an editing job,
Okay.
and I ended up having to. There was an overdub to do on one of Malin's scenes, so she came home to my home studio,
Yeah.
and we clicked. She was super cool, and then I played her some of our band songs. And there's a little thing before. I was working with a guy called Michael J. Michael J is the guy that wrote the very successful producer songwriter. Remember Martika, Toy Soldier?
Yeah.
He's the guy that
Yeah.
produced
Oh, okay,
that
okay.
album. Celine Dion. He was like very successful.
Yeah.
So I was writing songs for him. And then I would go to his place. He would pay me to just do some arrangement, do some mixing, and then if he found out that I had very good songwriting skills, because at that point I was into rock. You remember Evanescence that time?
Sure.
So we were trying to do this heavy rock Linkin Park style of music, and I was like very like but
Yeah.
then my songs were very melodical. And then Michael J said, if you drop down all of the rest of the stuff, you have good songs. And I started writing songs for him. Didn't work out very well because I was a beginner there back in the day. Didn't really know the music business very well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a different story for another time.
Okay.
You can guess what
Yeah,
happened there.
I understand.
But he said, if you find a beautiful girl, I'll get you a record deal.
Okay, so you're
Malin,
like,
this gorgeous Swedish girl comes to my house to do the overdub, and I'm thinking, wait, can you sing?
Yeah.
No, maybe it's kind of like that. I don't remember. It was long ago. But anyway, me and Malin clicked. We are still very good friends, great friends. And Malin said, "Oh, I never sang, but I sang in the church." So we started doing songs together. We wrote some 3 really good songs together.
Nice.
And those songs that I played for Michael J. This is great. Now you finally have a beautiful girl. I helped Malin getting into singing a little bit.
Yeah.
She did fantastic. She was so committed, but unfortunately she was surrounded by 3 Italians with an attitude. So we were
tough combo.
we were doing, what do you think? I fucked her in
Yeah.
in Italian,
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
was like, "Oh, please speak English. I don't know what's going on." It was the poor thing. But anyways, so Malin and I wrote these 3 songs, and then the first thing was, let's go back to Italy. Let's get Roberto back here to play drums. Roberto is a very talented drummer.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. Me and Malin traveled through Canada, then Europe, Sweden, and then when we went to Italy, and we convinced Roberto to come back, and then we started playing together. That went very well till a certain point. And then this whole thing with Michael J was producing the record. We finished, and then we changed the name from Ozono into the Petal Stones.
Okay.
It was Malin's idea, the name. I think it's cool. She
Okay,
still
the
thinks
Petal
it's,
Stones.
The Petal Stones.
Okay. Okay.
And then we did this record with the Petal Stones, and that's it. And then we started playing all over, LA again, and we played in Vegas a few times. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But I guess maybe we were not. Sony came to our audition. I think we were very into it. We had like an ADAT player with sequencing. We were quite heavy. But I guess maybe the time in history, the record company were looking for something maybe a little bit more organic, like My Chemical Romance came out. We were fighting against really talented bands.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen for us, but I still have a great memory of the old time we spent together. Yeah. Then eventually Malin ended up marrying Roberto, the drummer. That's another story. You guys can go check online.
Wow. Okay, so with that, let's play a music video from that time period. Okay.
Let me see. I need my glasses.
So the song is called Poison.
Yes.
Right.
This one was shot at Universal Studios in the Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Right? Lot in Universal Studios, and it was shot by the students of the New York Film Academy.
Okay.
They did a sort of like shooting and then putting things together. But this one I think was edited by the professor of the class.
Okay.
Which,
sounds good. And what year is this? About 2001. So is it
maybe we put it on in 2004.
2004.
Like after we met. Yes, maybe 2004. Maybe it says on the video.
Okay, we'll see. All right. So check this out. Poison by the band Petal Stones.
Yes. Yeah, 2004. Right?
Fantastic. You were rocking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And she sounds great.
Yeah, it's impressive. She had very little time to learn.
Yeah.
I was always very impressed with her commitment to learn singing, to do acting. She's a very, very talented person. Besides a very lovely person.
Yeah, that's awesome. So while the video was playing, Francesco was telling me kind of the story about the recording, and he was recording it at his home studio, and you took your garage and you were able to do all the drums in there, because that's one of the hardest things when you're figuring out how to record things on your own and you don't have a big studio to use and you don't have a good sounding room for drums. You have to really figure it out on your own, and that's usually the drum sound can make or break your recording.
Well, definitely, yeah.
Right? Because if the drums sound great, then you're like, oh, this sounds good. If the drums sound weak, then it's like, I don't know. For the people that don't understand, they're not really paying attention. They know what it sounds good. I don't know why, or it doesn't sound that good, but I don't know why. But a lot of it has to do with all that production and whatnot.
At that time, people were using a lot of replacement, and also, we were all improvised engineers at that point. We were starting doing our own recording, getting into computers. So I never replaced the sounds of the drums. I didn't even know how to do that back in the day.
Yeah.
But it was so heavy guitar driven, the drums usually would disappear anyway in the mix. This massive heavy guitars and drums were that's why you need a replacement.
Yeah.
But we were lucky. We always got good sounds. Also, I had Eddie helping me out. So
I want to segue into that. So the way Francesco and I met is through a mutual friend of ours who happens to be Eddie Kramer. So Eddie Kramer, we've talked about him a lot on the show. He's a fantastic producer, engineer. I mean, he recorded Woodstock, and his credits are just crazy. I mean, crazy. You're talking Zeppelin. You're talking Hendrix, Beatles, David Bowie, Peter Frampton, Stones. I mean, Anthrax. You could just keep going on and on and on. I mean, right? So we met Eddie in 2012. That's when we met him. But I think you'd already known him earlier.
Yeah, I've known Eddie since before these videos. Actually, I've known Eddie since 2003.
2003.
Yes.
Okay, so
this year is exactly 20 years.
All right. So how did you meet Eddie?
We met Eddie in several occasions, but the very first time, Malin is originally from Sweden, and Eddie was recording a band from Norway.
Okay.
At Energy Studio in North Hollywood.
Right.
J. Baumgartner. They recorded Linkin Park and Korn. Everything was happening. Evanescence, as a matter of fact.
Right.
So we went to say hi to these guys. They were recording, and they introduced us to Eddie at the studio. And I had no idea. But he was so nice and friendly. They said, "Oh, this is a nice guy." And I met also Ross Hogarth, another incredible engineer.
Ross produced one of our songs also.
One of our stuff.
Yeah. I know Ross.
And then we were brought in Energy Studio by another guy. It's a very complicated situation with this guy called Sammy. Nobody knows his real last name.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that
in the music business. A lot. We don't know his last name. We don't know what happened to him. Yeah.
But Eddie used to have his father used to have a house in Tuscany. So Eddie always had something for Italy. So we clicked. We started getting together, cook together.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things in common, like cooking, and our friendship was mostly based on that. But also Eddie produced and recorded my solo record in English.
Okay.
Right after the band broke up.
Okay. So the band. How long was the band together?
I would say maybe 3-4 years.
And then.
Yeah, I'm terrible with this. I don't remember.
It's okay. It's okay. But then so the band breaks up.
The band eventually breaks up because Malin and the drummer got involved. They decided to move in together. Things were not going the way we were expecting. So like usual the band's drama. I also think Malin probably had enough of this whole tension going on in the band, but. I think bands what happens. So you guys are great. I don't know, but and then we decided to go different ways, different routes. but I think it was great. It was great to break it also because we wanted to preserve our friendship over the band.
Right.
We were especially with the me and Mario, and we like brothers. We didn't want to pollute this relationship because of the gold rush of the music business.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
It was a nice fit out.
So now you're working on your solo album in English.
I'm working on my. I started with doing a totally different sound because at that point we were kind of evanescency, like the girls singing, me kind of rapping and screaming, and then we had very heavy guitars. I had the need to go more into an organic sound, and I always had this instinct for songwriting. And I took my acoustic guitars and I started writing a completely different style of music. And Eddie obviously helped me a lot to bring out this folk rock style. And, that record is whatever I've done in music is the one that makes me artistically feel the most achieved.
That's
the
awesome.
one record with Eddie called Disordinary.
Okay.
But I've done a lot of other things that I'm proud of, but that record entirely, I love it with all my heart.
That's how many songs are on it? 10?
10, 11, something like that. Yeah. It was a CD. Back in the day, we used to use
CDs, sure.
And I had a lot of good friends involved in helping me recording, and then Eddie, above all, recorded at the Steakhouse studio.
Yeah.
The one from the... And it was a great record, and I was finding my way. The problem is my English was never good enough. I couldn't shop it to anybody here in America. They would say, your accent is too thick. But there was some very good songwriting in it. And that led me to eventually to sing in Spanish, which is maybe a couple of years later. I started, doing production in my studio. I had a studio at that point, so I was getting artists from all over the world to record, and I produced a former MDO. I don't know if you have any familiar with Latin music. The Menudo. So it was like,
oh yeah.
It was one of the singers, I guess, with Ricky Martin was in one of this bands.
Yeah.
Very, very famous band. And I produced Daniel René, who is still an active artist. In my studio, I wrote most of his album, produced most of his album. And then through him, accidentally, I started singing in Spanish because I would sing the demos for him. And then I find out that I could sing in Spanish and I could write in Spanish. It's very similar to Italian. So and most of my friends at that point were Latin, like from Chile. My roommate was from Colombia. So I started writing in Spanish, and then accidentally entered the big scene of music in Mexico. And I started traveling to Mexico, and my songs went on the chart. Actually, I had the number one worldwide song on Latin billboards.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's one of your songs that you sang?
This is much later. It was a song that I dismissed from my record. I didn't like it, and I actually wrote it with Victor Indrizzo. It's by far my favorite drummer and human being in the world. Drummer Victor Indrizzo is a very, very accomplished drummer. You Google it. And Victor recorded I had these tracks at home, and I wrote melodies on it. And then through my friend Raffaele Sparza, who's another multi-platinum writer, we put together a song, and we gave it to Ednita Nazario. Ednita is a Puerto Rican, very famous Puerto Rican singer. She recorded in the record, and the record went Latin album worldwide. I was like, yes. So that was really a good achievement. 2009 maybe. So it's quite late. So Daniel René, Patricio Castillo, I've recorded a lot of Spanish, and I started enjoying singing in Spanish, and I did my own records in Spanish. They went pretty good in Mexico, and went back to the Eros Ramazzotti original influence, because like very pop Italian melodical. I was successful for ballads, very, very dramatic ballads. I didn't send you any of those because
that's fine. I like ballads.
But some of those are really, really good.
I believe you.
That's kind of led me to the Napoli anthem, because I grew up by the opera house, right? So every time,
so all that is you're being influenced by it as a young boy. My dad
also played the cello, so I have a big passion for orchestration, but I never studied music. So what happened is that then when I started producing pop music, I always wanted to put strings, and I would sing in my mind the parts. And then I discovered that I actually could do that. And in all of my Latin songs, most of my own Spanish songs I have orchestration that I wrote, and that led me to be able to orchestrate the anthem for the Napoli team. It was the years of working on
all of that on the Spanish music. Okay, so that's good. We can segue into that. 1 second. Let me just see. Hey, Barry, what's up? Barry has tuned in. Glad you're here. Barry's Olio's drummer.
Oh, hi.
So, hey, Barry.
I met him a few times.
Thank you. So, all right. 2013.
Yes, we jump in 2013. Yes.
Well, there's still some stuff in between. So what happened before 2013?
Writing in Spanish, I did a project called Project Re-Evolution, that then we found out was similar to the Linkin Park project. But after we put it out, it was we collected money for building a school in Guatemala and to help children in Napoli.
Okay.
I teamed up with an artist band from Napoli called Capone Bungt Bangt.
Okay.
Phenomenal players. They recycle garbage. They make instruments out of it.
Oh wow!
Super cool.
Okay.
And we did that. It was pretty exciting. And a bunch of songs going on the chart. And there in the picture there is another great friend of mine called Ettore Grenci. Lives now in LA. That was the bridge for me to enter professionally into the market, Latin market, along with Raffaele Esparza.
Yeah.
Those are the two figures in my life that really. I met Raffaele, as a matter of fact, when my daughter was in town, and Raffaele told me that he used to work with artists. Every time I come to you, you have those beautiful melodies that are ready to go on the radio. And I was very happy to hear that when he said
that's really nice.
I was always very insecure. They're gonna change it.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of songwriting, a lot of playing concerts, and then eventually in 2013, I was hired to compose the anthem. At that point, I already started the pedals too with Eddie.
Right, because in 2012, that's when I met.
I started the pedals,
so when I met Eddie in 2012, he was already talking to me about the pedals, and he was recording he did 2 EPs with us, and so the first EP we were at East West, and he was mixing at LAFX, and then we also were at Steve Vai's place, the Mothership,
in Hollywood,
North Hollywood, yeah, and then somewhere along that path he was like, oh hey, this is my buddy Francesco.
Maybe a NAMM show we met.
Maybe NAMM show, but it was also like there was a day in the studio.
Or maybe the LAFX.
LAFX, you were there, and you had the pedals, and Eddie was like, you got to check out these pedals, and so that's kind of when we met, around that time period. So you've got the F pedals. So how many pedals do you have now?
I'm not really making pedals anymore. 14 models. Now I'm making a softer version of them on F-Audio Labs.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I enter more into the software world, and I was a little bit. I felt like the pedal market was too crowded.
It's too crowded.
Too much for me to deal with.
Understood.
So I kind of pushed away. Also, the team that was working with me on the pedal fall apart. So I didn't want to continue. But I am designing pedal for Benevale in New York City. He has some very good pedals. So I am still in it, but on a different side. On a different side, yes. More on the engineering part and designing part, yes. Yeah. But maybe there's the fun clip that I sent you with Eddie.
I've got it. Yeah. I got it queued up. Okay, so let's show that clip.
Yes.
This is you guys in the kitchen.
Yes.
Right? Cooking up some pedals.
Yes.
Yeah.
We wanted to make some warm sounds, right?
Yeah, we're cooking up some warm sounds. Right. This is Francesco and Eddie. And here we go. Check this out.
So not only are we engineers, but we're engineers of food. We love food. It's our passion. It's our passion. Molto bene. I love this guy. He's the best. You know, this is Francesco Sondelli.
Mr. Kramer.
Sondelli from the deli. He's actually from Napoli, but we can't help it. Okay, so look, before we cook the pedals too hot, oh my God, they're getting hot. That's good. All right.
That's so funny. You got was the stove actually on? Were the
burners?
It was actually on? Oh my God!
We wanted to make it realistic. Yeah. I love Eddie. I miss Eddie so much.
I know.
You know, like
he's great. He's great. He's in Canada now, right?
He's in Canada. Yes.
Have you gone to see him or
not yet?
Yeah.
We were stuck. We were all stuck.
Yeah, that's right.
But I've been in between Japan and LA now.
Right.
My wife is Japanese.
Okay.
And my baby was born in Japan, so I didn't really have the chance. I didn't want to take any chance to leave and not being able to.
Understood.
To,
with
yeah,
COVID and all that.
But we've been chatting online
Yeah.
and some videos here and there. It's good. You know what? I don't know if you could say the same, but of everything I've learned, Eddie's been an incredible inspiration for me.
Oh.
He really changed the path of my life after I met him and all the stories. You know, you probably
it's so great.
but what Eddie taught me, and then I think it applies not only to music but also to life, is the human element, the human interaction. It's not about you being always by yourself on your phone and making music on your computer. It's the interaction with people that creates the best music. And that's why I love you with still playing with the band. It's challenging to be in a band nowadays.
Yeah.
To make even the quarter of a decent living playing music. But I think that's where the magic lies, in the interaction, the human element.
You're so right.
Things. And that's the one thing that Eddie really always stressed on me. Yes, computer digital is great, sounds great, but there is, even when the bands fight, they create an energy that creates music.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Good story with Eddie. We were in France. We were at La Fabrique Studios.
Oh, then I have a video of you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
I have a video of you.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
You guys. Okay.
So we were in the south of France. This is October of 2012,
Mm-hmm.
and we were there to record 3 songs, but while we were there, we finished a 4th song, and the song we met a guy in Malibu, and he was complaining about living in Malibu, so we were like, oh, we got to write a song about this guy, and we'll call it Rich People Problems.
I remember that song.
So we finished the song. We finished writing the song in France, and we show Eddie, and so it was during Mix with the Masters, right? So Mix with the Masters, there was about 12 or 15 engineers and producers from all over the world. They came for the week to learn from Eddie, and Eddie had Olio come in and be the band that he was going to record and show all these students how he uses a band to record them and all that. We got the benefit of recording 4 songs in the south of France, and it was amazing. There was 2 chefs, and we felt like the Rolling Stones.
Right.
You know, it was amazing. So while we were there, we recorded in one of the other rooms. We recorded the music of Rich People Problems just so Eddie could hear it, and then DeHaven, he sang over the recording as we were playing it for him. It's like, okay, this is Rich People Problems. What do you think? And we're singing it for him, and he's like, stop everything. We have to record this now, right now. Okay, so we set up everything, and we start recording, and everything's, the drums are, everything's set up like he had it. We come back in, and we're listening, and Eddie's, this isn't right. Let me hear that recording again on your phone. Where did you record this? I say, it's just the phone microphone, and we were in that room over there. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the same, it was like beat up drums, old amplifier, old bass amp cracking when you play it. We're using all the same stuff that I heard on the iPhone. We have to do that same thing. Forget about all the microphones and all the great studio stuff. Back over there. So he runs, 100 yards of cable to the room that's far away from the studio, and he's running back and forth, and we're communicating on headphones. He's like, I can't get you a click track. No click. Forget the click. We're just gonna go. Yeah. Go play. So DeHaven this was the beginning of. So he passed away in 2019. But this was the beginning of his health problems, and he would walk 10 steps and he'd have to stop, and he's like, I gotta catch my breath. So he could only do 1 take, and then he's done.
Right.
So we just did 1 take, and that's what we got, and it was great.
Right.
And Eddie was like, we got it. This is it. I don't care if everything's bleeding into each other. Yes. This is perfect. This is what it's about. And we were just like, wow, this is so great.
Yes.
Instead of everything being controlled and perfect, and he was like, forget all that. All of you in the same room. We'll mic up everything. Go. So it's such Eddie. It's such a testament to life and living life, and everything what you're saying about that magic of bringing people together and creating that.
And creating an energy. It's the energy.
Creating that energy. That's.
And he always says perfection is not musical. I always say, perfection is not musical. Auto-tune. No need auto-tune. Perfection is not musical. Otherwise, Led Zeppelin would not be there with Led Zeppelin.
Very true.
With Kiss or any of those bands.
Very true.
It's the uniqueness of the imperfection.
The uniqueness. That's absolutely right. And so you kids out there listening to that perfection music, all the soul is taken out.
And don't just do music by yourself on the computer. Meet other friends, because it's the interaction with other people that creates the best things.
Absolutely. Okay, in 2013.
Yes, sorry.
No. This is good.
Yes.
In 2013, you compose the anthem for the Napoli football team, which for Americans is soccer. All right. Football. How did this come about?
Aurelio De Laurentiis, the president of Napoli, also very famous movie producer, gave me a chance. He was in LA and gave me a chance. Many artists tried to get this gig, and he said, I have a vision. I want to take O Soldato Innamorato, was a very old Napolitan song sang in the stadium by the fans, and I want to turn it into something cool. So I went home and I brainstormed possibility. And I ended up creating a traditional. So I used only the chorus from the original song, and I composed all of the rest of it. And I took a typical beat from Napoli, the tarantella, right? Kind of a tarantella.
Okay.
And it's played with an instrument called tamorra. It's kind of like a tambourine mixed with beating. Tamorra, anyway.
Okay.
Tamorra. And then I compose all of the. I take that and I turn it into a Pirates of the Caribbean vibe. So upbeat with strings.
Yeah.
Finally, I was working on strings.
Right.
And then I had this whole intro, very very cinematographic, very cinematic. And he loved it. He played it in his house here in Beverly Hills with his wife, and he says, this is what we're looking for. And I was so blessed.
That's so awesome.
And then he flew me to Italy. We put it together. He gave me a budget to put together the orchestra and all of that. We got like a choir to sing the chorus, and I sang part of it in the intro, and that's it. And that was it. And then we presented it in July of 2013.
Yeah.
In the stadium of Napoli.
Yeah.
So the stadium where I saw Maradona playing.
Right.
I was on the field. I made the mixing, because the challenge in the stadium is that it's basically all mono. And you have a lot of feedback, and you have to think of people singing along with the track when it starts, with all the returns. So there is a specific orientation you have to put the speaker. I worked with my friend Puccio, talented engineer in Italy, to help me set up in a way that people would be kind of singing along with the track.
Right.
Because we knew they would be starting singing the chorus. Yeah. And it was amazing experience. I met the players, I got autograph. And I did this when the biggest cycle of Napoli began, with the top players started coming in town. It was really like an incredible experience. And so in July of 2013 we played it, and I of course I had those VIP passes. I was on the field, and I sent you the clip,
and we're gonna show it right now.
Me on the field recording myself in ecstasy.
I love it. Okay, check this out.
Risultato finale, Napoli 2, Borussia 1.
this was the very first time that was played, so I was incredibly scared that they might have not liked it. Instead, as you can see, people sang along.
Yeah.
Not everybody sang along, not everybody liked it, of course, like everything in music, but it was an incredible experience. The guy that high fives me at the end, that's the official speaker at Decibel, became a great friend of mine after we worked together.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
That's so cool. So how many people were in the stadium?
Maybe like 50,000-60,000, something like that. And then when they sing all together, it's
I mean, that's a rush.
We had
so
played
cool.
in front of crowds, but that's
that's a crowd.
You're right inside, so you get it's
from
really
all sides, and
all
it's
sides,
just like wow.
And there was the first time, so you don't know if they're gonna like it. There's a moment when it ends, and I think it's because of the delay.
Yeah.
That I feel like, oh, nobody's applauding, and I'm like,
and you're waiting. You're like,
and
what?
Then, the fraction of a second, I was like, oh, and then like, yes.
Okay.
It's a relief. Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
So I was talking about rich people problems earlier. So Wayne says you don't have to worry about rich people problems when you're married to a soccer mom. By the way, I love that line. That's really good, Wayne. Thanks for that. That's really good. Okay, I want to show some photos here.
Oh, there you
go. We're gonna talk about these moments. What was happening in your life at this time? So here's Eddie. What's going on?
This is Eddie and Jimmy Waldo.
Okay.
Jimmy Waldo is a talented keyboard player from. He was in a band with Steve Vai, the very first band we said. I can't remember the name. Steve Vai's first band. Anyways, this is when Eddie produced my record, my solo record in English. Yeah. This is Eddie's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all his photos.
Yeah,
and
it's Jimmy.
Yeah, I see Jimmy back there. Yeah.
Jimmy and Jimmy.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's Malin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me and Malin like recently, I mean like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Kind of recently.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's the band. That's the Petal Stones.
All right. So this is back in the day.
Back in the day of the band.
Nice. So
this is towards the end of the band because I have short hair and
okay.
Yeah. Finally, I decided to cut my ugly long. Oh, this is the Edenita Nazareth top #1 Latin Billboard. Was my #1 worldwide.
That's incredible.
The album was called Soy.
Okay. That's awesome.
That's me and Eddie recording my record at the Steakhouse studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good memories there.
Great memories there.
Yeah, always fun.
Always teaching something.
Yeah, always fun with him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to. We got another set here. Okay.
Oh, this is with the girl from Guatemala, a singer from called Sherry. She decided to ask me to write a song and produce one of her songs, called it Suspiro Se Me Va, and then she also covered one of my songs, the only songs I've ever written in Italian.
Oh.
She sang it in called Continuamente. It's a beautiful song. She did it in a more like a Radiohead-ish kind of production. She wanted me to do that way more for her, and we duet on that song.
Wow, so
this is me in Guatemala in a radio interview.
That's one of the few Italian songs you've had. Maybe you should write some more Italian songs too. You know, right?
I definitely should.
Yeah.
And this is me. That's Mario when concerts, live venues.
Okay.
Maybe not. This is maybe a TV studio because I see a camera in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just performing in Spanish. At that point already in Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my latest group. Before I kind of retired from performing live with my great friend Dario Comuzzi, Davide Cinci, and Nino. Nino is the owner of Benevale Pedals, the guy on the left. So I'm now basically making pedals with him.
Gotcha. So what year is this?
This is recent. This is 2006 recent.
I know.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is in Studio City. Yes.
Okay.
This is me performing with Capone, the project we did called Project Re-Evolution. We collected funds for the children in Napoli and in Guatemala.
Right.
This is me just singing on stage.
Okay. And we've got...
Oh, these are my records in Spanish. Vivo. This is a cool song, yeah. This is the song Vivo. These are pretty much all of my CD covers of my Latin life. Maybe also some... Yeah, this is Invincible. These are all the singles, pretty much.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
This was when we already starting doing singles. The CD were fading away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah, this is called Ray. Yeah, it's like all just records. See this? Lo que dejamos atrás.
All singles. This is a single also.
No, some of them are like several songs.
Several songs on it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty much my whole Latin career.
Right.
My own as a singer.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the record that Eddie produced in English, Disordinary.
Right. Disordinary.
Yeah,
so is this available for streaming and iTunes?
iTunes, yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
The only thing is that for whatever reason, back in the day was my first time going on iTunes.
Yeah.
And I think there is no last name, so it's only Francesco.
Ah.
So
okay.
if you look for Sondelli, my last name on iTunes, you won't find this record.
So I'd have to look for it as Francesco Disordinary.
Disordinary, yeah.
Okay. So homework. Look up Francesco Disordinary so you can listen to it. Okay. All right. So then I want to talk about. There's one more video to play. So before we do that, so Eddie started doing like these tours of his collection, talking about his photography, talking about his time as an engineer, working with all these amazing artists. And so he was going on the road and doing these things, and you were helping him put all this together, right? You were
sometimes I would help him putting the slideshows together, and and every time was a story, like an amazing story. And then the more I worked with him on his side, the more I got so motivated about making music and living life in a different way.
Yeah.
So in 2013, right before the anthem, I did the anthem in July, and in March of 2013, I invited Eddie to Napoli, and we surprised him. We flew him and AJ's lovely wife, great.
Yeah.
We flew them into Napoli, and we put together. I put together a lot of local established bands and artists, and each one of them performed something in tribute to one of Eddie's works, like Hendrix on the saxophone, very random stuff.
Ah, nice.
And then we had this theater was packed up, was full house, and then Eddie came on stage with me. We show all of his pictures. So for the first time we did a slideshow together, pretty much. And I was translating in Italian his performance, and then band would play in between the slideshow. And it's funny because me and Eddie love cooking together.
Yeah,
we really do. Actually, cook some pasta with broccoli wrap, very good. And then I teach him a lot of bad words and cursing. So we are on stage, and then he's getting upset, and I say, "You know how to say that?" Telling story, and he starts cursing in Italian, in Neapolitan, and people love it.
Oh, they're going crazy, right?
And it was a success. It was definitely a success. So 2003, my record. 2013, a tribute to his career.
Yeah.
And there's a surprise coming out, but we're not gonna say anything.
Okay.
Secret.
That's good.
That's a secret.
That's good. I love it. I just joined Forza Napoli.
Bravo.
That's my brother-in-law.
Sempre Forza Napoli.
So I don't know what you caught, but Francesco did the Napoli anthem in 2013, and we talked about all that. So that's super cool. He was asking me, Anthony was like, "Well, is Francesco going to go back for the games? I mean, what's he doing here? Why is he?" And I said, "I don't know. We can talk. We can ask him." So
yes, I definitely gonna go back.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to be there on time, because Napoli is winning, like it's an historical record. We're winning so much earlier than the end of the season.
I know.
I wasn't expecting. I've also built a commemorative or celebrating guitar for the team.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I'm definitely gonna fly. I wanna give it personally to Aurelio De Laurentiis, the president. And I'm very good friend with Eduardo, his son. So when I go, they treat me like family. So I wanna go there.
That's awesome.
And visit them and bring the guitar. And I wanna bring my just born daughter to finally meet her grandparents. Yeah. My baby girl has not met grandma and grandpa yet.
Right.
So I am planning to go. Hopefully, I'm gonna be able to get the last game of the season in, I think it's the June 1st or something like that.
Okay.
Hopefully so.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to go back to this clip with Eddie. This is in Italy, right?
Right. In Napoli.
In Napoli, and this is that event where you were translating into Italian.
Yeah.
And celebrating his works and things like that. So this is that moment where
he's cursing.
He's cursing, and everyone's loving it. So check this out.
Oh, Ed, you can tell him. You know how to say it in Napolitan.
Gods.
No, yeah.
What a great moment.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. All right, so what's tell me about the guitars.
Okay, so I wanted to do. I always had this thing of building guitars when I was in my teenaging years.
Yeah.
So I decided to do something. There is a lack of interest in musical instruments in the younger generations. So I thought, and I think it's a combination of not being motivated enough, maybe by the way the music's right now on the internet, and at the same time maybe because. I thought anyway. I don't want to get too political about it.
I know.
So I decided to put out my own brand. So it's Sondelli Guitars. Sondelli is my last name. I adopted my dad's signature as a logo.
I love it.
And then the idea is, and I think this is gonna be cool. There is either like very affordable guitars.
Yeah.
Or very expensive custom shop guitars, luthery level. But if you want a custom shop of your own, you have to wait months and spend a fortune. I'm always been into wanting to customize my own things.
Okay.
Since I was young. So
Right.
what I did, I spent a year and a half, and designed with the help of some friends in Italy. I designed never seen before animated 3D online custom shop. So if you go to sondelligitars.com and click on custom shop, you can design your own guitar pretty much based on preset models.
Understood.
Fender style. Can
Yeah.
I say Fender? Advertising.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fender based, like Southern California style.
Yeah.
And you can you can combine. I designed some headstocks and modified the bodies a little bit, and you can basically create your own guitar online. And you can see in 3D and preview in real time. And then if you like it, you can order it. If you don't like it, you can save it. You can share with your friends. And the cool thing is that I can deliver those like in about 3 months.
Wow.
Even less than 3 months. I say 3 months to be safe, but I think in 60 days can be delivered. And at a very affordable price.
That's really cool.
We are making the guitars in Japan.
Okay.
I have found a team of people that help me. I don't personally build the guitars. I just design the whole idea, and I design the presets. So there's a lot of like high-end features, like like truss rod at the body, like all come with roasted maple necks.
Yeah.
They're gonna get bored of this, but very cool stuff. and you can buy it at an affordable price, and I think you can design your own. We also have preset designs,
right.
Especially I do a collab with some established artists, and
okay.
Together we develop things that you cannot do on the custom shop, of course. But the most amazing part of this is that I'm using a wood called kiri in Japanese.
Okay.
The kiri is an incredibly light wood, and it sounds so beautiful. I found out about this wood through my in-laws.
Okay.
They gifted me a kiri box. In Japan, they plant the kiri tree when a baby girl is born. The tree grows very fast.
Okay.
In only 12 years, it's a full tree.
Wow.
So you can, and then when the girl becomes 12, 13, they use the tree to make a cabinet to store kimonos. Because this wood has a property, if the house goes in fire, the box will carbonize, but the kimono doesn't catch fire.
Wow,
it's
that's amazing.
And it's so beautiful to touch. It feels like silk, and it's very sturdy. It's considered the aluminum of woods. So I decided to do all the guitars. Like I do also older, but I really, really love this, and it sounds incredible. I think it's called Paolonia in English.
Okay.
And some company are using it.
So
now.
all the Sondelli guitars use that wood?
Yes, but you have an option to, if you go custom shop, you can switch to older if you really want an older wood for the body. So I only use the kiri for the bodies, but for necks I use the maple, and then there is a rosewood, not the Indian or the Brazilian, because it's an endangered species. So I don't want to abuse the and so we use an alternative rosewood from Thailand, Albergia Negra, very, very good sounding and beautiful looking. And every time I build or sell a guitar, I donate to onetreeplanted.org. And every $1 they plant a tree, wherever you want. So you basically we plant hundreds and thousands, hopefully, of trees to help fighting deforestation.
Right.
So we take from nature, but we give back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So is it live now?
It is live. It's it's still a little bit in progress, but it's live. It's we have already some dealers here in California.
Yeah.
I have dealers in Japan, and soon I will have dealers in Italy. But you can order online. You can go and then if you are in an area where you can go and play one and discover how beautiful and fantastic my guitars are.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a personal thing. You might not like them, but
right.
You can try them on the website. We have a list of dealers.
Where you could go and
you can check them out.
It.
We should make one for you because this one is black and white. That's Juventus.
Yeah,
black, white and blue. That's Napoli colors.
I'm not trying to start a fight here.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I have a lot of friends that are Juventus fans.
Okay.
Former friends. We don't talk.
We don't talk anymore. We used to be good friends, but not anymore.
No, I'm just kidding. I have actually. There's one of my greatest friends, Giacomo Pasquali. Is an incredibly talented impulse response designer. We put in a plugin today. It's called the Hailstone on faudiolabs.com.
Yeah.
He's a Juventus fan. So it's only downside, but he's a very talented guy. And we put out some really cool speaker simulation on this plugin. You should check it out. I'll send you the license.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
All right. Well, so where can people find you besides sondeliguitars.com? Is that the best place to find you?
Sondeliguitars.com is the one that if you want to check the guitars, I have f-audiolabs.com. Audiolabs.com?
Yeah, Audiolabs.
Audiolabs.com. It's the plugin and software.
Yeah.
BenevalenNYC.com for the pedals.
Okay.
And FrancescoSondelli.com. It's my own website.
Yeah.
In constant under constructions. If you want to waste your time, so keep adding things.
Yeah.
It's never done. Yeah.
Never done. Francesco, it's so great to have you here. Thanks you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Yeah. So my friend Francesco Sondelli, what a show, what a guy. This was really fun.
Thank you. Thank you guys for staying with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for all the comments. Oh wait, there might be some more here. Let me see. I don't want to sign off and Barry's asking, do you know Matt Laug? Vasco drummer friend. It's a friend of Barry's.
I know the Vasco has a house here. I've been to his house a few times for parties. I know all of the entourage that work with Vasco, and I'm sure I've met Matt at some point at the studio in Los Feliz.
How about that? And then Anthony says, see? How about that?
Yes, Anthony. That's it. It's the beginning of a new era.
Yeah, that's right. He's excited. He's on a plane tomorrow.
Enjoy Napoli, Anthony.
Yeah, he's gonna love it.
Go get some pizza fritta.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate you all tuning in. And I'm gonna leave you with a song that we did back in 2014. It's called Grazie. Anthony says a song called Getting Away with Murder. It's on the Untitled album. See you next week. Have a great week. Thank you. Sleeping in the back of my mind. Now I see you creeping to places I was hard to find. Haunted, I'm taunted. I wanted to keep you under lock and key. I keep my skeletons locked away. Somehow my skeletons are out to play. You're getting away with murder, guilty of your crime. You're getting away with murder.
You're thriving once you got your